Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast devoted to the aspiring entrepreneur on a shoestring budget. Here are your hosts, #1 best-selling fitness author Dale L. Roberts and the Midwest's best, Kevin S. Allen.
Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast devoted to the aspiring entrepreneur within on a shoestring budget. And I'm your host, Dale L. Roberts, joined by the Midwest best, Kevin S. Allen over there. Kevin, how you doing, baby, man? It's been a minute.
Oh, feeling great. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Well, if you think about it, actually, we've recorded our episodes, like every other week for the past month now. So people would probably be hearing us on SoundCloud pretty consistently. But when it comes to YouTube, I'm releasing, today's episode typically on today. And then like the second hour, I've been releasing the very next week. So we've actually been having every other week off.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, dude, you got a tremendous amount going on with the move back to Ohio. I mean,
it is
October 1st?
September 30th to be exact, dude, because our lease is up then, so we got to get our asses out of the house, and we're not gonna just rent or get like a hotel here for the night. I was even talking to her yesterday about our game plan, which is have everything done, set, so then come September 30th, whatever time we can get out of here, I imagine we'll probably go by the front office, have them do a walkthrough inspection, give our keys, and head out of here. So whatever time they open up, they take a look at our thing, we're out of here. Headed the hell out of here. So
how long's the drive back?
28 hours.
28
hours. Yeah. It's better than when we came here. It was actually about 32 hours going from Columbus to Scottsdale at the time. So if you think about it, because Scottsdale's a little closer, it's it's east of the Phoenix.
Okay.
And so we actually went into the northern portion of Scottsdale itself. So that was 32 hours then. From what Kelly was saying, she was doing a little bit of investigation. She'd found that with the instructions going back, we're hitting a few toll roads that actually weren't there before. So I have a feeling they did quite a bit of construction and building and development over the last 5 years since us being here. It's a very interesting process. Hopefully, you don't mind, indulge me for a minute and I'll just tell you the process. And hopefully anybody that's going through this particular situation, you can see exactly what it takes to get what you want. And hopefully you can apply this in your own business strategy as well as your life strategies. When you want something, you make it happen. You just say, fuck it. You burn the boats and you fucking don't look back. And here's the thing is, my uncle brought up a really good one. I don't know if you ever got to meet Uncle Mike. Did you?
Uncle Mike and Colleen?
Yeah. So Uncle Mike, he brought up a really good point. He's just like, possessions sometimes are a hindrance. They can kind of be, they'll tether you, they'll hold you down. I can't remember the exact words, but I paraphrase him. And I can't agree with him more, because the funny thing is 5 years ago, when we wanted to leave Columbus, we had a yard sale. We sold everything. We sold my bed, which was like a king size bed. It was nice. Ooh. Oh man, that thing was pimp, dude. I have not slept on a nice bed like that since, except for when I went to, Luxor recently. Any rate though, which that's funny, actually, that was last week. And that's when we missed our Bootstrap Businessmen, because I was actually in the middle of having a great time. Any event
Vegas,
though,
baby.
We sold a lot of the things. We didn't make like a ton of money, but it was nice because it did put a little bit extra money in our pocket, was able to, get some, more gas in the vehicles, able to get more food along the way, and still have a little bit of money by the time we'd make it into Arizona. So, and the nice thing is we didn't have to rent a U-Haul. Okay. We didn't have to worry about being burdened down with a bunch of stuff. We did have 2 vehicles at the time. So whatever possessions we kind of were like, I don't want to part ways with, like picture frames and stuffed animals. I know I'm still a little bit of a kid at heart. I still hang on a lot of my stuffed animals. Any rate though, a lot of that stuff came with us, and thankfully I had a Mercury Sable at the time. So it was pretty large and it fit a lot of things into the trunk. At the time I had my cat in the back seat. We were able to travel there. And then of course, Kelly had her, still the same car. And so we were able to take our own worldly possessions in each of our vehicles. Well, now we're going back into one vehicle. And a lot of people will be like, well, why don't you run a U-Haul? And I've heard this so much where it's just like, you know, even you being a sweetheart you are, you're like, oh, let's just get you a U-Haul. I hate to see you breaking weight. Dude, it doesn't matter to me. This is what I always believe in. And this is something hopefully will help a lot of people out. Material possessions come and go. Okay?
Sure.
The things that are the most important are things right up in here. Okay. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, what am I going to do? What am I going to be like, okay, I've got this awesome red couch. Look at this. I've got a red couch. It's comfortable to sit on.
Okay.
Guess what? I can, you know, get a chair like these right here for like $5 at a Goodwill. And
Sure.
it's, you know, it sits me just fine. So I can find another couch like that. I can find another bed. I can find a lot of things. But the one thing that we can't find and we can't replace is, you know, friends and family. And the fact that right now, you know, I was real adamant about returning to Ohio, but the more and more I'm looking on the bright side of things, I got your funny ass to actually return home to. I've got, you know, Walt is over the moon. I mean, I'm telling you, I've actually had a few video chats with him more recently. He is just ecstatic about me coming back into town.
Nice.
My big brother.
Your big brother, man. That's exciting, man. And you're right. You know, the old adage goes, do you really ever own anything in this
Right.
life? No.
Not really.
Oh,
Not really. And sometimes they own you because you know, you're just like, oh, let me
Yes.
load this up in this U-Haul. It's a pain in the ass. Actually,
yeah,
I
it is.
totally, and here's the funny thing is I'll go ahead and just recap things here on the show of what we did yesterday. My wife and I recorded a video between the two of us because we've been running into this headache, dude. So it's between Craigslist and like some like seller type things on Facebook, like these seller groups. So actually the one's called like Swift Swap's the name of the group. And you post your items on there. There's certain rules that you have to abide by. You know, you say the price, you say where your crossroads are at. You're saying if it's cross post, in other words, if it's posted over like a Craigslist and other groups.
Okay.
So in any event, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, we're dealing with some pretty cool people. You know, when they're interested, they'll come and they'll get it. But then you got that one person out of the 10 people. And I'm sure Kelly will probably argue with the ratio of, you know, jackasses to good people, because she's having to deal with it more than me. Hey, I'll make straightforward. She's handling a lot of the selling of a lot of the goods. To me, you know, I would rather almost just get somebody just be like, come into my home and be like, I'll give you 100 for everything.
right. Absolutely, man.
I'll be like, yeah, you 100 for everything. Well, I don't want that. No. You take the crap with the good stuff too.
Sure.
You know,
well, you know,
she's handling really well though.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to part ways with this thing. Here's something that you know, this is. I think we've said this before on other shows. Is, you know, I lost a lot of my childhood things on a fire up north in northern Michigan. My father had some property up there, and they bought an old house. And when they had moved from Attica, Ohio, up to northern Michigan, they took all of my childhood possessions up there, and he stored it in their attic. Well, place fucking burnt down. It burnt everything. I've got, with the exception of a handful of things from my childhood that I took with me to college. Okay, it's, you know, that's it. That's it. Like, I don't have my G.I. Joe figurines. I don't have some of my old comic books. I don't have, you know, it's a lot of things. And a lot of people will probably be like, oh man, that's going to hurt. I bet you those G.I. Joe figures are worth a lot. I'm like, yeah, but you know, the thing is it's fucking money. I mean,
the nice part about it is your dad's okay. You know what I mean? How about that? You know what I mean?
And you know, I can't put a price tag on that. And here's the funny thing is I watch some of these shows on hoarders, and you know, the funny thing is, here's a great solution on some of these people with these hoarders. Attract them out of the house and set their place on fire. Make sure there's no little thing there. Set it on fire. Don't tell them that you set it on fire. And, you know, have them deal with the trauma of having to lose everything. Because here's the thing is, you know, you can't take it with you. You never really own anything. It owns you.
Yeah.
And the thing is those, you know, those people, I feel for them because they have this certain attachment to these inanimate objects, you know, these things, these possessions, and these things they think that brings them memory. Okay. Just because I picked this up at the Europa, you know, and I had a great time that year, you know, it doesn't mean I'm afraid of it breaking or being thrown out. Okay.
You still got the memories.
Yeah. I still can sit there and think about, oh man, there was that one cool muscle farm, you know, thing that I had. And, you know, I can really start to remember that. Now, I'm sure there's probably going to be some people who are going to put some thumbs down on this video for me saying this and being so blatant about this. But, you know, guys, gals, if you were really looking and you're very serious about becoming an entrepreneur, never be attached to any one thing. Okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not saying to be attached to any person or any thought or any memory. It's okay. If you're able to, hey, look, I'm still going to take my stuffed animals with me. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to part ways with those. It's small things, but I'm very selective on those type of things that I really want to keep for myself. I see that you messaged me. Oh, you're still messaging.
I am messaging. Yeah. No, I was going to tell you earlier, but anyway, no, man, I completely agree with you. And it's the truth. In the business world, I think one of the things becoming an entrepreneur is the self-education that happens, right? You really get to know who you are. And with that, you're expanding your mind. Okay. And once you expand your mind, you can't go back. No matter how hard you try, you can't reverse what you've learned. Okay. You just can't. Well, I mean, there are certain circumstances, but for the normal part, you just can't. Okay. So once your mind is expanded, you start seeing things in a different light.
Yeah.
You start seeing things that, you're like looking around. Is it the big house that you really want? Is it that Mercedes? Is it is that really what you're chasing? When if you really look deep inside as an entrepreneur, I think the bottom line is freedom. Okay. And if you dissect freedom to that level, to the soul and then to the mind, possessions are not part of that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's being able to pick up, go where you want with your loved one, your partner, your family and stuff, and enjoy those memories and make those memories. To me, that's true freedom. If I got $1 million house, but I got to pay $40,000 a year in taxes, so then I got to continue to run myself and earn and earn and earn. Like you just said, who owns who? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just being honest. So you're right. It's the small things, right? If you can pack up your car and drive 32 hours and you're you and you're just as happy and go lucky and knowing that things are going to be okay, dude, you've already achieved a level that I think that most people are seeking.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it's easy, man. It's not easy. It really, when I learned my childhood possessions were gone, it was rough. It was rough for me. And, but the funny thing is it was secondary for me to go, thank God my family's okay. Thank God, and it was my stepmother at the time as well, which, I've never ever disliked my stepmother. Never get that wrong. Chris was a sweet woman. And I wish the best to her in her life. And of course, my two half brothers, they were good. So, that right there, it was almost like, oh man, all my childhood things. But then I was just like, thank God they're okay. And so that's really, let's focus on like the business end of things. I mean, let's start to talk a little bit about something. And this is something that I noticed with entrepreneurs that are really aspiring. And I'd like to hear your take on it.
Sure.
Let's say someone really is, man, they are steadfast on wanting to do one thing. What would you say is the time that they need to stop when it becomes a ball and chain rather than an enabler for freedom? So in other words, let's say, for instance, if I was in self-publishing and I've been doing it for the last 2 years and I haven't drawn a dime, which thank goodness it's not true. But let's just say the last couple of years, it hasn't drawn a dime. What do you think? Do I need to walk away from something like that? What's your advice to someone like that?
That's a tough one, and it truly is, because there's a passion level there. So if this is something that you're very passionate about, right, and it still isn't drawing any income for you, but the passion's still there. So what I would recommend, honestly, is, okay, you got to walk away, right, at least for a moment, and you need to sit down and reflect within you. What are you doing? What have you been doing? Have you truly been educating yourself, learning? Okay. Have you put yourself around other successful self-publishers. You know what I mean? Because they always say that the sum of your life is the 5 people that you surround yourself with, right? You know, it's kind of the typical solution there. I don't believe that wholeheartedly, but that's just a saying. So I would say you're going to have to take a step back, because there were moments, you know, I had to regroup myself, because I'm like, I believe in what I'm doing. It's not happening for me the way that I want it to, but then I had to refocus. Okay, I really hadn't been continually educating myself, growing the psychology of what I was doing, right? Expanding my mind, learning, growing, putting myself around other successful people, not necessarily in the industry, but similar. Okay, so that we could run ideas past each other.
Yeah.
Once I started doing that, things started clicking. Now, if I would have done all of those things and then nothing was happening, I would really have to take a step back and say, I've been going in the wrong direction. What is going on here? What is my heart? My heart is pulling me in this direction, but maybe I'm using the wrong medium. Okay, it is truly what we got to look at. Because self-publishing doesn't necessarily mean that you have to write a book, right?
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Yeah, you could be photography. It could be.
Oh, you're revealing too much about yourself there, buddy.
Yeah. It could be. No, honestly, it could be paintings, right? Coloring books.
It's true.
Yeah, you know,
I try to tell Russ that all the time. You know,
yeah.
Russ is a phenomenal painter, man.
Oh, wow.
Phenomenal painter. Yeah, dude, wait till you see this. Because, I mean, the funny thing is I'm going to come out to Ohio. I swear to God, I'm going to become the glue that brings all the boys back together again. Because, you know, you're going to finally get the chance to be around my brother again. But you're going to see Russ. I always tell Russ, like, I can't write any books. I'm like, you don't have to write books, dude. I was like, your paintings are beautiful. They're gorgeous.
Do that.
Scanned, put them into book form, dude. I was like, I'm telling you this, man. People will love your paintings. I was like, They're going to probably clamoring for those paintings.
So, yeah, man. I mean, just like that for an example. Yeah. Don't get tunnel vision, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just because you say I want to be self-published, okay? You really have to break that down and break that apart and look at it on the horizon and say, what is in the scope of this, right? And we just named a few. Obviously, there's tons, right? You could be a metalwork artist. You could be whatever. You're self-publicating or self-doing whatever you want to say, your own work. That's all that means, right? You're not taking a picture and handing it to somebody and they're doing all, you're doing it yourself. So there's a little bit of love and labor in that. So take a look at don't take the blinders off for a second. Say, okay, I feel that I want to be self-published. Like I've got something I want to deliver to the world artistically.
Yeah.
So then you look at it and you're like, okay, this has got to be a book. No, it could be a movie. You know, it could be an independent film that you put out. You know, so I would say at that point, if you've assimilated yourself and brought your group together, educate yourself, learn, and put all the processes in place, and it's still not happening, you have to look and say, okay, my passion is doing this because I believe I can deliver something artistically. Okay, well, maybe you're just using the wrong medium. Okay, maybe it's coloring, maybe it's using chalk on a sidewalk. You know what I mean? Who knows? I'm just saying, we can't be so narrow-minded. Just because you say self-publishing, why does that automatically make you think of being an author?
It's true. Yeah.
You know, that's my take on it. So.
Yeah, so very good, man. It's great. I always love to kind of like throw the ball towards your direction because I don't want this to be the Dale Roberts show, because I think that you bring something very interesting and very intriguing when it comes to thinking out these things. And you know, it's a struggle, and of course, it sounds like to me like
it is.
You've had some personal experience and some stories that you could possibly share. So, what's something that you could relate to? Give me a good story on you've dealt with and how you had coped with them. Ooh, I put him on the spot. Which, by the way, I got
No.
I was actually, the funny thing is here, bro, is we're those of you that listen to this show, we communicate via Facebook Messenger to each other, and he's communicating that he's on a little bit of a deadline tonight. You beat me to the punch, man. Actually, we're going to be having a dinner date tonight. My wife and I are going to go out and get a buy one get one over at My Pie today, one of our favorite.
Oh, okay, cool. So it works out.
I don't think Columbus has got My Pie, so we better enjoy it while we can.
I think you might want to look that up.
Oh, they've got My Pie. Seriously, I will. I will push women and children over to get to it.
Well, we were talking about you asked me a question and stuff. It's not that I was put on the spot. I was like joking.
Oh, poor guy. I'm sitting there like, talk right now.
No, my throat's really dry. So my take on it, okay, here's one example, right? I knew I wanted to work from home. Okay. So I'm like, let's look at work from home opportunities. One of the biggest ones that come up are there's direct sales. Okay. Yep. And then there's insurance salesman. So I'm like, well, that's a great opportunity. And look at how much fucking money these people can make. Oh my God, it's unlimited. Dude, rock star, and you're helping somebody out. Oh my God, ties everything together. Sign me up. So I get educated, take the state licensing test in about 7 different states.
Woo!
Yeah.
I did not know this about you, man. Keep going. I can't wait to share my end of things here.
So get going. I'm like, all right, man, I found a person I wanted to hook up with. They had all the flash, making it sound all great, work from home, your own hours, unlimited income. Oh man, it was great. I'm like, Paul, this is all up my alley. Blinders on, bro. It was like one street. So I'm like, hell yeah, I went to training, learned all the lead systems, how to make the calls on the phone, how to knock on the doors, just in the insurance world. I've pretty much been in sales my entire life, but to learn a new industry, I'm like, oh, it's got to be a whole new process. Well, it's not really, right? It's just reworded differently. So I'm like, hell, I'm gung ho, bro. I bought all these leads, $600 and some in lead costs, out. Yeah, right. So I'm determined, right? This is Kevin's ticket, man. This is my ticket to the big leads, freedom, money, Mercedes, trips. Man, dude, they have my head just like, this is crazy.
Yep.
Dude, I went out, started knocking on doors and stuff. Oh my God, what a fucking nightmare that was, dude. Jesus Christ, I was getting doors slammed in my face, telling people were like, people were like, I'm going to call the cops. And, a couple of the, dude, it was horrible.
I'm gonna call the cops, you son of a bitch. Don't you dare sell me insurance.
I actually had to talk to a police officer one night. He's like, what are you doing in this neighborhood knocking on doors? And I told him, he's like, well, you have to apply for this permit, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I really didn't know that. So anyway,
okay, backtrack. You can't gloss over that story, dude. At least give me the footnote version of that one, because that right, seriously, that's crazy.
Yeah, because no, it was okay. So let's take it back. Let's take a step back. I'm not gonna say homes, or this was a trailer park, right? Well, anyway, there was a couple leads that I had purchased that were in the same trailer park. So I'm like, you know what? If there's if there's 2, there's got to be more than 2. So I started just random knocking. I had door knockers. I was hanging shit on their doors and stuff if they didn't answer. You know what I mean? This is what you're supposed to do. This is what's going to bring me freedom, baby. This is a work from home opportunity that I could not miss. Yeah. So in that, a couple, this one old lady and stuff. She answers the door. She's like, can I help you? And I was like, yes, ma'am. I'm from so-and-so insurance company. You had sent in wanting to, more information about our life insurance, and I handed her my business card, and she just kind of looked at it. She's like, I'm not interested. She's like, you do realize it's like 8 o'clock at night. Dude, I've been doing this all day.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, well, ma'am, I said, I've got your information right here. And I pulled out the lead sheet, was showing it to her, going over it. She's like, I'm going to tell you what, you got about 5 seconds to get off my porch, or I'm going to call the cops. Well, all my training was, it's just an objection, right? Okay.
Oh, sweet
So,
baby Jesus.
so keep coming back with the rebuttals on that. Like, well, ma'am, I'm sorry you feel that way, but honestly, is this your signature? Is this, she slammed the door. I was like, well, I guess we're done. So I took one of those door hangers, hung it on her door anyway, right? Because it's what you're supposed to do.
Oh God.
I no longer made it maybe 30 feet away from her trailer. And an officer pulled up and got out. He wanted to see my ID and everything. Of course, he ran my ID, and he's like, "What are you doing, sir?" I was like, "Well, this lady had filled out an insurance lead, and I was showing him the lead, And he's like, "Well, have you knocked on any other doors besides that?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, a couple, down here." He goes, "Did they have leads?" I said, "Well, no, I was just trying to distribute information." He goes, "You have to have a permit to go door to door. Yeah, to canvas."
Now, was this
basically.
is that just a law in Ohio, or do you think that's something throughout the United States in general?
No, it's per city, actually.
Per city. Okay, so
It's a per city ordinance. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So was sitting there, and he's like, just, pack it up for the night and stuff. And I said, okay. So, well, what is the harm? What is truly the harm? And he started laughing. He goes, honestly, this is the most asinine call that I've ever had in my entire career as a police officer. He goes, but it's an ordinance, so I had to come check it out,
Yeah.
He goes, obviously you're not out trying to do any harm and stuff, but yeah, it made me pack it up. I had to actually go back, and the ones that didn't have lead sheets with them,
you had to pull them out. Oh,
pull them off the door.
That's so defeating. You spent all day working on that shit. And
yeah. So I was sitting there, I did this, dude. I'm not even going to lie to you. I was doing this on my off days. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So, because, when you're transitioning, unless you've got a ton of money saved and, just things kind of like handed to you a little bit,
yeah,
you got to transition slowly. So this was my first shot at becoming my own boss, an entrepreneur. So I was doing this on my days off. So it was 2 days a week. And then sometimes in the evenings, if I was out of the office by 4:00, dude, I would roll to a neighborhood and start like knocking on doors till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, or phone calling people, trying to set appointments. I did this for about 6 weeks. Let's go 8 weeks. It was actually 2 full months.
Okay.
And I said, okay, sold one policy.
8 months.
No, 8 weeks.
Or 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Excuse me. 8 weeks.
One policy.
One policy. Pray tell.
Yes.
How much did that one policy net you?
That one policy did net me $150, so I was pretty excited about that. But the $150 divided by all my time, it wasn't worth it, right? No. So I had to sit down, and I was like, well, wait a minute, this combined all the things. This is everything I was looking for. It's my own work at home opportunity to become my own entrepreneur, build my own success, helping others. Okay. So I'm like, what's missing? And I just started writing, just writing notes, going through everything. And I was like, this has got to be the vehicle. It matches everything. There was one ingredient that I had forgotten about.
What's that?
One thing that I've always been passionate about in my sales career, and when I worked with Verizon, might as well share that and stuff. It doesn't matter. When I worked with them, the small business customer was always something that was very passionate for me. They got screwed every turn, man. Every time they turn around, from their electric bill, their phone bill, even through us, even through Verizon and stuff. At the time, it was probably about 30% more for the same thing as just a regular consumer, right? Just because they were, but just because they were a business. So I always looked for ways to help them reduce their costs, expand their capabilities. So when that finally clicked, when that finally hit with me, then I had everything all together. Okay. Sales is a market. If you believe it or not, even in self-publishing, anybody's listening, if you're an author, if you are in, obviously direct sales, but if you're a painter, if you're anything, you're going to have to learn how to sell at some point. because sales are the backbone of anything or in every industry in the world.
Yep.
Okay. Without sales, you don't have profit, which means you can't duplicate what you just produced. So you have to learn how to sell a little bit. You have to learn how to talk to people. You have to learn the psychology behind it. Great book or audiobook, Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Selling. Recommend it to everyone. I don't care what you do. If you're a nurse or a doctor, self-publisher, or do what I do, everybody should listen to this book. It's really, the insights are just phenomenal.
What's the name of that book again?
Psychology of Selling.
Psychology of Selling. Let's see if we can insert that into the show notes, which keep in mind, guys, you can always go into our description and click on our Amazon affiliates link and make sure you pick up one of those copies, or feel free to drop us a line at bootstrapbusinessmen@gmail.com and we'll kick you over a free audiobook code. You can go ahead and pick it up for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian Tracy's wonderful. That's funny.
It's fantastic.
Maybe I have read it before because I've read so many damn books. They all do kind of blend together. I mean, I'm going on my second run on all my John C. Maxwell books. But that's tremendous. I love that story. I never knew that about you, man. I'm so glad that actually I brought that up because, man, I tell you what, you smell like smoke because you have been through fire.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Well, there was, let's go back to my journey. Actually, Dale, started probably, I'm going to say about 2002. Okay. Really just kind of tinkering, if you will, without commitment, just kind of interested, right? It was renamed, but it was the same company. It was Amway. So it was a direct selling business. So I understand all of that. You know what I mean? It was called Quick Star is what it was called.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it was Amway Online, right? It was their first take. The great thing that this company has done, and their products were great, right? Don't get me wrong. What they've done recently, and fantastic, great for them. They went back to calling themselves Amway because guess what? That's what they are, right? So good, kudos for them. So yeah, I mean, I tried that for a little bit. Horrible, hated it. Fuck that noise, man. It was always weird. When you say don't make it weird, it was always weird talking to people about this stuff. You know what I mean?
There's just people that are naturals at that, man. Like Jamal was a great example. I mean, he's a natural at it. He doesn't force it. Kyle Stanley, a natural direct sales. But there are some people, you hear this a lot in direct sales business. You like that? I got a clip on my finger.
Yeah, this is nice.
It's actually supposed to be on my curtain, but screw it today. But any event, the thing is, they say this a lot in direct sales businesses, don't make it weird. And they give all these rules, but it's always weird. And here's the other thing is they're like, be natural. It's not natural for me to sit there and go, okay, I'm going to set you up on a 3-way phone call. And your friend's going, hey, what the fuck is a 3-way phone call? Why do I need to be on a 3-way phone call?
Hey, I know I just met you, but if I could show you the way to kick your job to the curb and make $100,000 a month, wouldn't you be interested?
Yeah, exactly. It is.
Yeah.
There are some people, though. I mean, just God, there's one guy.
I could do it today and be phenomenal at it because I've learned so much.
Yeah. And here's the thing is, but you're already doing something amazing. And see, that's the thing is I think I can probably do the same thing myself because there's actually a great direct sales company called Arbonne, and they're actually vegan products I can really get behind. But the thing is like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Here's the thing is you've noticed a little bit of a transition here with me lately. I've loved doing videos lately.
Sure.
Videos are a blast, and I just have a feeling that self-publishing, it's going to continue to be something great for me. But it's probably going to end up getting surpassed by the whole video building because, man, I love writing screenplays. I love actually putting and piecing it together. The cheesy video that I put up yesterday is just prime example. But, man, what was the one thing they said in direct sales? It's something that, they said, here's something. Don't mistake this phrase. If you're getting into direct sales and someone says this to you, don't read into this too much, okay? Some people say get comfortable with getting uncomfortable, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. No,
Mhm.
no, you should never feel like a fucking weirdo, or you shouldn't
No.
feel like, it's like, oh, you feel uncomfortable in your own skin. No,
Right.
no.
Here,
Getting
here's
uncomfortable is learning new things and,
yes.
stretching your boundaries, but not going into
Yes.
something like going, I've got a business opportunity. You should join me today. Oh God, that feels so much better.
Yes.
It's like, no,
Yes.
see, here's the thing. Some people ask me, this is a good story here for you. When I'm out and about, some people ask me, and the funny thing is that now that I'm calling over into, Columbus a couple times to look at places, some people ask me what line of work I'm in. And of course I bring up the fact that I'm an author. And always what happens whenever I bring up I'm an author. It's like, oh, wow, that's so neat. If I were to say that I was a factory worker, I swear to God, people are like, okay, that's cool.
Cool.
But then I say author, it's just like, oh, I've always wanted to write a book. I hear that so many times. I always wanted to write a book. I was like, oh, cool. And then they find out I'm a self-publishing coach. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh. And then they start trying to find out how they can be able to do their book and everything else.
Sure.
And see, that's the thing is, if you're in direct sales, try to think of that in the same regards and how I do.
Yes.
It's like, what do you do? I work with this company. It's called, Advocare, or it's called Amway.
Yeah.
And then just go about your business, because if somebody's really legitimately interested in it, they'll probably start talking to you about it. You don't need to be like, this was a transitional line I used to learn. It was just like, what do you do? I work at a company called Advocare. They do world-class nutrition products, and then I had to transition in with a question. Have you ever heard of them before? And then somebody's like, no, and then you're just kind of like, you're like,
really?
You just start throwing up information. Whoa, you haven't heard of them? Let me give you some Spark. Drink the Spark. Fucking drink it down. Here's a trick. I used to love this. They go, take a Spark, put it into a water bottle. You're gonna shake it up, okay? Take the cap off, hand it to them, and then keep the cap for yourself so they drink it on the spot. Like,
wow.
And then I used to have some people that go, can I have the cap?
Can I get the cap? Because I'm not really.
Can I get the cap? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't.
You got to drink it.
You're supposed to drink all of it. Chug, 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 chug.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, no, it's horrible. And here's the thing, all of these businesses, honestly, at their core, are fantastic.
Yes.
Honest to God. Somewhere along the line, some cheesy fucking ex-used car insurance mix salesman got a hold of this and rewrote their business model, right?
Yes.
Make it as cheesy and uncomfortable as possible, and those people will buy. Bullshit.
Yes.
Okay. When people ask me what I do now, all I tell them is I own my own business. You know what I mean? That's simple as that. And they're like, oh, that's cool. If they ask me, I'll explain it. If not, that's cool. You know what I mean? We just move on. They're like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, do you really want to know? Because it's kind of boring.
It's so funny because you create more intrigue. It's almost like, that guy. Like that,
it's on purpose.
Yeah,
bro.
like that guy that like some chicks like comes up, it's like, hey, how's it going? And he's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. It's like, oh, I want to talk to him some more.
Whatever, bitch.
You're like that rebel. Everybody wants to learn. And a funny thing is it took me the longest time for me to even understand what your business model was, because I go, what do you do? Oh, it's kind of boring. I'm like, what do you mean it's fucking boring? You're the farthest thing from fucking boring. It can't be boring. That is boring, actually. And I'm like, Dick, tell me what you do. Point of sales. I'm like, what is that? I told you it was boring, dude. I'm like, and now I want to learn more. And I'm like, this asshole, let me tell you.
Oh, it's so funny. When I started talking to people, I'm like, hey, so I explained it to them like this. I'm like, hey, every time you get gas or go to the grocery store or go buy clothes and you take out your card and you slide it through that little credit card thing, they're like, yeah. I'm like, that's me. They're like, really? How did you get into that? I'm like, ugh, long story. They're like, no, seriously, how did you get into that? That's like the oddest thing. Like, you don't hear of people doing this, right? I'm like, well, you do in my industry because, it seems like everybody down the street's trying to do it now. But, right? Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's any industry. So I do the intrigue. It's created on purpose a little bit because I want to see if somebody's really interested. They're going to ask me what. Um, if I just say I own my own business and they're like, oh, that's cool, and they move on, oh, they don't give a shit. It doesn't matter what I tell them. I could sit out back and dig up fucking worms and sell them on the street corner with pantyhose on and stuff. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But if they're like, well, what is it that you do? Do you really want to know? It's kind of boring. I can share it. They're like, yeah, absolutely. What is it? You know? So then I'll explain it to them. They're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. You know, do you make good money at it?" I'm like, it's a living. It's kind of hard to explain that on the spot with somebody because you never know who you're talking to. Okay,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because that person could be another business owner that owns brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
And if I say, "Yeah, I'm fucking making it hand over fist," you know what I mean? They're gonna be like, we're not going to call you, right?
Right. You're
So
doing okay. So why do I need to be involved with you?
Right. I'm like, it pays the bills, and moreover, it kind of satisfies a personal need for me. And they're like, well, what is a personal need? I'm like, it's honestly to help small businesses out. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, if you know a small business owner, or if you are one, you get overcharged for everything. Everything you do, your checking accounts, your electric, your cable, your internet, your phone bills, everything, anything and everything that you do. So I found something that lines up. It's a personal satisfaction to me because if I can cut off 30, 40% of your monthly costs, isn't that going to benefit somebody? And they're like, yeah. They're like, do you have a business card? You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Do you know somebody? They're like, well, actually, I own, bullshit donut shop across the street over here.
That was actually a business I was going to invest in, dude. How'd you know about that?
So you have to, in anything that you do, you have to be real careful. So, don't make it weird. Direct sales to me, the way that I was taught, was really fucking weird. I'm sorry to anybody that's doing it and you're successful. I could take it now, grab it by the reins, and ride this baby into the sunset. Yeah. Okay, because I've learned so much over the last 14 years. Okay, wow, 14 years. Yeah, it's crazy. So don't make it weird. Just have a conversation. Just tell people you own your own business, or you work from home, or you're an author, right? The intrigue or the questions will follow if necessary. Okay.
Yeah, it's true, because there's been sometimes where I say author and some people are just kind of like, they probably would have been more interested if, they're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's like they give two fucks, so, and usually I'm kind of like, fuck you. I'm a number in it.
It's not because they don't care about what you do. They honestly just don't even care that you were talking, to be honest with you. Seriously.
It's something I don't take offense to. The funny thing is sometimes when people go past that, it makes it easier for the conversation then, because sometimes you get some people where they kind of hang about on it and it's I think really what serves you the best is the fact that the thing is people like to share about themselves. Mm-hmm. I am one. I love to share about myself. I think you probably do, but you've got that in check. You've got your ego in check to where it's funny. I think you've got this down to an art. You don't know if you realize it, but you're more intrigued in other people than yourself. It's
absolutely.
Like learn about other people than share yourself, because you're kind of like, every single time you always redirect. Anytime I'm like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I had a great day at work. And
what have you been up to?
Yeah, there's this subtle transition, and you don't even do it purposely. I think it's just it's an ingrained type thing where it's almost like your ego. You're like, ego's locked up back here, so you're almost like I want to know about you. That's the very top of your mind. You're like, what's going on?
Well, honestly, it's true. I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love myself. Don't get me wrong. We could spend hours and stuff, chit-chatting and talking about whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, I love myself. I'm getting better. I'm growing. I work on the things that I want to work on, and I'm doing this. And could it be of interest, or could it help somebody at some point? Sure. But there's an appropriate time for that. I've always felt, if that needs to be shared. Yeah. But I genuinely, and this is just being honest, genuinely want to know about you. I want to know what's going on, what's happening, how can I help? Um, Not that there's any kind of, there's a satisfaction that comes from helping another person. Okay. It's a fellow human being. Okay. It's not black, white, male, female. It's another human being. If I can help you, I'm going to try. Um, and there's a level of satisfaction. Don't get me wrong. I feel good about them. Like, yeah, help them. I'll help them out. But that's for about 5 seconds. By myself.
Mm-hmm.
I never ever really talk about that to anyone.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not for me to show
You
off.
never have. No.
Yeah.
There's some times where you're like, oh, I helped out so and so, and but I mean, it's almost in passing. And the funny thing is, I've discovered that my writing has become better in fiction the more I study people and the more questions I ask of people, because then I'm able to go into the intricacies of the human mind. So that's why I like to ask you questions. That's why I like to ask, people that I get to meet, especially most recently, we've been doing a lot of networking. I take a little bit of time to try to find out more about people, because I want to know a little bit more about people. I want to hear how they speak. I want to see how they act, to certain situations, their beliefs, their mindsets, because it intrigues me. And it's where I'm sitting down and I'm writing these stories. And now, sure, some of them are smut, but some of them actually have some storylines. And most recently, I had actually wrote a trilogy for Kelly's publishing business. And the trilogy we put up, man, I tell you, it's stellar. It was stellar.
Nice.
It goes underneath romance for a change. It wasn't erotica or smut or anything else like that. And when I sat back and I took a step back, I was like, wow, I was really happy with it, because I was able to actually develop characters, because I pay attention to people. So that's what really helps me out, and really trying to talk to people more. It's funny, it's a little self-serving, but I stop talking about myself and I start talking more about this person, because I'm so intrigued by it. I'm like, I get to hear somebody's story. And if for some reason, these stories gets the wheels going, really greases the wheels for me as a writer. Something that Stephen King, I understand, does. Stephen King actually had mentioned he just pays attention to sometimes the minor nuances in people, and how they conduct themselves. So, dude, you with that being said, I'm sure you probably could write some killer stories at this point, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's crazy, man. There's a psychology too. And here's the thing. I've walked away. I'm not that guy that's going to come in and I got to make a sale, right?
Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, if I'm listening to you and I know everything I know where to take you to get this done, okay, and walk out with a sale, woohoo! But I also know to listen enough, and I'm like, wow, what I've got really isn't going to match. It's not going to match up well here. And it could just be a personality conflict. Okay. And that's okay. And I will let the person know. I'm like, unfortunately, my system can't do this or this or this, even though that I know that it can. There's a personality conflict here. I know it's not going to bode well for either one of us.
No, there's going to be some real problems down the road.
Yeah, because whether you know it or not, Dale, I'm a little bit of a hothead sometimes.
You were best friends with my brother in high school. I believe that.
And it comes at a point where, if you're being called out, if you will, that's where that kind of turns into a challenge, or that gets heated, and I love to avoid those situations at all possible.
Yeah, confrontations suck.
Well, yeah, confrontation's needed a lot of times in life, a lot of times in business, a lot of times in relationships. You have to confront things head on. Doesn't mean you have to be angry and like slamming shit, you know what I mean? But confrontation can be a good thing in certain circumstances, and I've realized this. It's not a good thing when you're dealing with somebody's money and you're not getting along. It's not a good situation. So, I just kind of bow out gracefully. And I think that, there's a lot of lessons in that that have been learned personally and professionally over the years. There's a lot of personal relationships, family, friends that, unfortunately, a statement that you said earlier in the show and stuff is that, the most important things that you can't let go of are people and like memories and stuff,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to let go of people. And
You
I'm
really
just being,
do.
yeah, you do, and it's unfortunate because there's always this little bit of love inside for that person, and you bid them well and hope that life treats them, as wonderful as they want it to be, but you know that you just can't be around them, right?
Yes.
You have to cut that tie. It's bad because there's some kind of negative energy somewhere that you got to kind of cut it loose.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, dude, because I love everybody and I want to see everybody succeed. And those were the hardest moments for me, especially transitioning into an entrepreneur. I
Mhm.
had to cut some ties with people that kept telling me that what I was trying to do was ridiculous, doesn't make sense. You had a great job. Stay there till you retire.
Yep.
All of this stuff, and it just started. What it did is it started sitting in here, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I shouldn't. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. We have to stop all of this bullshit. You gone, and it
Yep.
sucks, but you're gone because this guy is going forward. I got a mission.
There's gonna be some
So
people
it's
that will put that doubt
yeah,
in your
man.
head, man. Yeah,
Dude,
it's
you got
it's
kick them to the curb.
you really do, and it's I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you got to go straight up, tell them to their faces, you're dead to me.
Yep.
But the thing is, and I heard this when I was doing self-publishing, when I left my job as an activities director, 20 years experience at the healthcare industry, and I literally had just got certified nationally as an activities director. That was a big,
That's huge.
big hurdle.
That's huge.
Okay, the funny thing is, actually expired this past month. And
Oh,
is it big to me? No, not really. I think it was really cool to finish on a high note in my career as that. But
sure.
man, they would say, like, why are you walking away from this? It's gonna be huge. You can go up to a corporate level and yada yada. And the funny thing is people that poo-pooed on the things I wanted to do of ultimately becoming a self-publisher, they were never successful in self-publishing.
Right.
They don't know anything about self-publishing. So if you ever hear somebody doubting you, if you ever have somebody poo-pooing on your dreams and your passions, you need to first of all say, have they walked the path that I'm going to go on? Okay.
Right.
They can't sit there and compare their specific path. Let's say you want to do direct sales. Say you just want to go balls deep on it. You don't need to pay attention to Bootstrap Businessmen, their personal experiences, and say, well, gosh, okay, neither one of us were wildly successful in direct sales. Okay.
No, it's okay.
Wildly successful, not wildly successful.
Right.
So the thing is, if you want to do direct sales, then fuck it. You go for it. You do it. Make sure you're passionate about it. Make sure you go for it. And don't fucking let anybody tell you anything otherwise. You're going to have some people that sit there and go, you can't do it, or that's not realistic, or this and that.
Yep.
Fuck them if they've never fucking walked that path themselves, because I heard some shit from fucking people that they were fucking wrong. And you know what?
Yep.
All I got to say is what you can't ever take away from me is the fact that I can say I was number fucking one in what I did multiple times throughout the fucking world. And you know what? Those people that doubted me for a minute, that's my fucking revenge.
Absolutely, man. And the old saying goes, only take advice or listen to somebody that you'd be willing to trade positions with. Okay.
Yes.
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 Yes. And that's 100% is concrete, right? You want to do direct sales? Do direct sales. You want to sell margarita umbrellas on the beach? Do it. Number one rule, don't do it for money. Okay? Do it for purpose. The money follows, right? Am I right? The money comes. Yep. Do it for purpose. That has to be your why. All the other shit, but yeah, bottom line, do not take advice from anybody that you would not be willing to trade places with.
Exactly. And I think that's why I was so hugely successful in self-publishing is because I paid attention so much to Jason Brock.
Yeah.
Jason's been hugely instrumental in my success because he'd been successful. And the funny thing is, we're so night and day in our approaches because, he'll hire out a writer, whereas I will write my own stuff. But the funny thing is I actually got to learn that process in the same time.
Sure.
So, getting to learn from him,
Help
and
him
I'd
out.
be willing to trade places with him, because of the fact
Yeah.
that he's been successful with it. Which, by the way, he's on the road right now.
I saw that. Yeah, there's like a GPS picture or something he put up.
Yes, he's got to do the trip. He had to do the trip twice because unfortunately his truck was so fucking big, it couldn't be hitched on to a U-Haul to drive over there. He tried to work the system. It was so funny. Classic Jason. He's like, calls him. He's like, yeah, I have a F-150 or something like that, and they were just kind of like, yeah, that's too big. So he calls him back up. And he's like, I got a Ford Ranger. And they're like, oh, okay, good. He gets the ramp. He brings it back. He puts the damn thing on with like a lot of trouble, but the ramp couldn't come back up. It literally was so fucking big. And
It was
so
like
heavy.
this. Yes.
And he's like, yeah, I had to go return it. But Jason just explained to me. So it was just so close to him having to go out to Cancun for his vacation. And he just said, well, screw it. I'll just go ahead and I'll fly in from Cancun when I'm done with my vacation. I'll pick up the truck and I'll just drive it again. He's elated though about this trip. He's real excited because of the fact that he doesn't have any of the dogs. His son's already out there in the Midwest. So really all he's got to do is just drive his truck home.
Yeah, stop over, a few places and just cruise on in. Yeah.
I got to hit that dude up here at any point, man. We're starting to get down to the last of our hour here. I was going to try to shoot for a 2-hour run, but once again, I'd like to go out and do a dinner date. It sounds to me like you've got some obligations to attend to. But I definitely want to try to reconnect here with you pretty soon here. Maybe you and I can do like a marathon run because obviously my move date is in 31 days, dude. 31 days. Actually,
dude, that's exciting.
Days, technically. So, and on top of that, I just want to let people know that you're going to be running out. If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, you may want to do it now. That way, if you want to see the live things, because Google Hangouts is coming to a close. And I know that Kevin and I are actually going to go to pre-recording our episodes here pretty soon, especially when we're going to be meeting up in person. We're going to have some more interviews. So this is my big shout out. We've already got a couple people on tap that are very interested coming onto the show. But once when Kevin and I are in person, we are probably going to work out some more interviews for the show. So if you are a business person, okay, you are a bootstrap businessman, businesswoman, whatever it might be, the verbiage, please get a hold of us at bootstrapbusinessmen@gmail.com. Once again, that's bootstrapbusinessmen@gmail.com. And let us know. Tell us your story. We want to hear a little bit about you. Give us a little bit of a background. Let's get to know you, and we'd like to bring you and showcase you on the show. Why would you want to go on the show, Kevin?
Our show?
Yeah, why would you want to come on our show? What's the benefits of coming to Bootstrap Businessmen?
Well, they get to hang out with you and I for a couple. Come on.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, duh, okay.
Two number one best-selling authors.
Hey, easy. But there's only one in the house here. But beyond that, honestly, it's the exposure on YouTube. It's going to be the exposure across all of our podcast platforms, man. Yeah. iTunes, Google Play, FeedBurner, SoundCloud.
SoundCloud's our biggest, shout out to anybody that actually is
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, you guys are our folks, man. We see you guys, getting the views. I never thought SoundCloud would be so big, man. But big shout out to you guys, whoever's supporting us. Please hit us up. You tell us that you're listening to our episodes over at SoundCloud. You give us an email, we'll send you something for free. I'm being completely serious.
Yeah, we've got quite a few things that we can kick it out. So, guys, there's that, and it's an open platform. Okay, you can come on, be yourself. Is another great reason. You don't have to. There's no fluff. So if there's a time that you just felt like saying fuck it, you can say that on this show. It's your platform. Just come on, be honest, be real. Dude, that's what I think I really love about a couple of our guests. Some, not so much, but a couple that they were very real and raw. You know what I mean? That to me means more than anything, man. I want to know the day that you woke up and you said, I can't do it.
We want to hear your story. Yeah, we really,
but you did it anyway.
Yeah, I want to hear from the Michelle Perrys out there. I want to hear from the Christmas Abbotts. I want to hear from the Cavi Sonios. Cavi.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Cavi.
Yes.
Cavi's just unstoppable. I'm telling you, like Kelly went pictures. I was like,
she's got a book.
Oh my God.
She's got a book. Somebody wrote a book about her.
Really, really. Way to
Mhm.
go, Cavi. Big
Yeah,
shout out, man. I'll tell you, we got to get Cavi back on. In fact, actually, it's going to be so crazy when you and I are doing this in person. We're going to have a crowd around the mic. Maybe we can get our boys like Russ can come on the show. Well, Kelly's going to definitely have, we're going to rope her in for sure.
absolutely. Well, and also, we're going to, okay, there's another platform, folks, that actually two platforms that we're going to be taking this to that maybe Dale, I really haven't talked to you about this, but we're going to be running these on, Facebook Live and on Instagram stories.
Oh, that's beautiful idea.
All at the
100%
same
behind that.
time.
Let's
Yeah.
do that for sure.
So,
It only makes sense. I mean,
yeah.
let's make sure we run with it. And if Facebook Live is huge.
Yeah, you can get the Q&A, direct questions. So I say we do it.
Yeah, it's crazy because Kelly and I will get on Facebook Live sometimes, and
Your guys' stuff is awesome, man.
oh,
You're too
show
cute.
up.
You both are too cute. Just too damn cute.
I'll tell you, dude. That's all her. Like the first time I
Oh
tried it, she
no,
just kind of.
it's both of you together. You're just too cute.
No, I'm saying that it's all her that we do it because we were
Oh,
kind of like,
gotcha.
I tried it once and she just happened to kind of be roped in. Well, after she got hooked, she enjoyed it. Now she's doing the videos with me with doing the voiceovers, and she's just having a blast with it. And
Dude,
she
that's
got to
awesome.
watch me do some of the editing process last night. And I was showing her, she's like, "Wow, it's fun. I can't wait to show you my toy with iMovies. Oh my gosh, it's so fun."
So folks, anybody that's listening, honestly, this is a perfect example. Okay, if you get a chance, check out Dale Roberts on Facebook, DaleRoberts.com, Dale Roberts on YouTube, self-publishing with Dale Roberts. Okay, check any of these things out. You're going to find a person that there's no doubt that there's some passion and there's a lot of fun, man. It's happening and stuff here, and it just truly, whether you realize it or not, man, is really inspiring. I even get inspired sometimes listening to it, just your energy, right? I try to feel a lot of energies and stuff, but if people watch this, they're gonna get inspired because you're just happy, the energy's there, and now your wife's doing it with you. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's like perfect.
It is, man. This is so much fun, man. It reminds me
Yeah.
of when I was a kid. It's so funny. I was going to say we're going to close out the show. We're going to definitely try to wrap it up here in 2 seconds. But it reminds me as a kid.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I used to, I was very much kind of like I was self-entertained.
Sure.
Walt would be off doing something like with you or something, or or even prior to that, and I was okay. I could just sit in the room and I would literally I would act out my own little plays and things like that. I would make up my own songs as a kid. I was just a very imaginative kid. And now that I'm finally getting away from the fact that I had this ingrained belief that you have to have a 9-to-5 job, that you can't succeed being a big kid. I finally let go of that notion, and it wasn't, overnight, but I finally let go of that notion that, you can't be a big kid. The funny thing is I finally got my imagination back. I finally got that freedom in me. I finally got that belief that, you know what, I can be one goofy ass son of a bitch, and I can actually get people laughing along with me. And that's the thing is,
you have fun.
Yeah, releasing those videos is a blast. While putting it together, it's Kelly wonders, how do I keep a straight face on it? It's because I think of the end product. And I go, okay, save your laughter to the end. So that's why I was able to take the banana and rub it all over my face without laughing, because I was just like, I'm playing a character. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just get myself ingrained to this character wearing a dirty shirt and, the jacked up looking cap and screwed up looking eyes and such. And, I because the fact that I'm like, I think about the outcome, because I'm like, I'll laugh. I was like, but I know this is going to make some other people laugh. And the funny thing is, dude, that post, man, blew up like that. And I posted it
it went crazy.
Midnight. Oh yeah, it was so much fun. But yeah, that's the thing is, if you're going into business, you're doing this entrepreneurial journey, man, be a kid again. Don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid.
Have that imagination.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, we're starting to wrap things up. And so before I pass it off to Kevin to close us out, I just want to say thank you once again to all our folks over in SoundCloud and all the other platforms as well. We do see that you're doing that.
Yes.
So please show us some love. If you can, leave us a rating wherever you're at. If you're at iTunes, make sure you leave us a rating, leave us a review, post a comment. And most importantly, if you could do us just a small favor, you're going to click in the description below, or wherever it might be on whatever platform that you're at. there's an Amazon link. I need you to go ahead and you're going to go ahead and copy and paste that and put it into your browser. Save it as a bookmark. Anytime that you're doing any kind of shopping on Amazon, we see you. We see you when you're doing your shopping there, guys. Thank you very much. Every last little bit counts. Everything from a 99-cent book over to, lighting equipment, things like that. That really adds up, and it actually kicks back a little portion to the show, okay? It's not any extra cost to you. You just do your shopping like you normally do, and Amazon just rewards us for sending the traffic over towards that direction. So if you just help us support the show, get that Amazon link, share that link with everybody that you know, and just say, hey, can you help out my buddies over here at Bootstrap Businessmen? And in the meantime, it has been an awesome, awesome show today. I really appreciate you taking time, Kevin, today, because I know you've been a busy man. And
I'll always take time for this, my friend.
Dude, wait till we get October comes along. October, man. We're going to be in person.
Oh, man, it's going to be – I'm excited.
It's going to be electric, dude. We got to figure out like the headphone situation. Of course, then again, we won't have too much bouncing because we can just probably just sit there and talk. Well, in any event, now that we're wrapping things up, go ahead and close us out, buddy.
All right. Everybody, again, thanks for listening in and stuff. Hopefully some of the things that you got from this, you can also find in, rest in peace, right? But go watch Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, the original. Okay, it tells you everything you need to know to be successful in business in there. It's just pure imagination. Have a purpose, right? Don't worry about the money, because guess what? That money's going to come. Okay, that follows, but have that imagination. If you remember when you were a kid, everything was possible. When you were 5 years old, you could have been you were an astronaut, you were a firefighter, you were a jet fighter pilot, you were a Jedi, you were, a coloring book artist or a superhero. Bring that back. That's life. That's living right there, right? Okay, that purpose, that love in life. So other than that, guys, thanks for tuning in. Dale, turn it back over to you, man. I'm out of here.
Peace out.
Please support the show by simply shopping at Amazon through the link in the show description. Every time you make a purchase through the provided link, a small percentage of sales goes back to support the show. There's no additional cost to you, and it greatly helps us out. Simply go to the link, bookmark it in your browser, and do your shopping on Amazon while you support the Bootstrap Businessmen podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Bootstrap Businessmen.